Today's lesson is titled Adding and Subtracting Polynomials. Before we get started, we need to determine what a polynomial is. So here we go. So a polynomial is an expression of more than two algebraic terms, especially the sum of several terms that contain different powers of the same variable. Now, what does that mean? So it means we have an expression with no equal sign or no inequality sign of more than two algebraic terms with different powers. So here's an example. So we have 5x squared plus 3x minus 11. We have three different terms. We have different powers. We have 1x squared that is squared. We have 1x to the first power, and then we have a constant of negative 11. And it's an expression. There's no equal sign, there's no inequality sign. So when we're dealing with polynomials, what we're going to be doing really is adding and subtracting polynomials. And that is, and I'm looking at the blue statement right here, therefore adding and subtracting polynomials is the same thing as combining like terms. You may have to distribute and then combine like terms, but that's it. So you're going to be given multiple polynomials that look like the example we wrote down in red, and we're going to have to add them and subtract them. So let's get started. Here's our first example. It says the quantity of 5x squared minus 5x plus 8 plus the quantity of 8x squared plus 4x minus 15. There is no equal sign. You're not going to solve for x at all. X is not going to equal something at the end. So let's get started. We have the first quantity of 5x squared minus 5x plus 8. We're not going to distribute anything to it, so we can just rewrite that one. 5x squared minus 5x plus 8. In the second quantity, we have an addition sign in front on the left side of the parentheses, so we have to distribute our addition sign. So that would be plus 8x squared. We're going to distribute the addition sign to the second term, plus 4x, and then the addition sign to the third term, which would be minus 15. If you notice, when you distribute an addition sign, nothing changes in the expression. Now what we're going to do is we have to combine like terms, like I just said. So we always want to find the largest exponent, 5x squared and plus 8x squared. And I'm going to rewrite these just for organizational purposes. 5x squared plus 8x squared. The second largest exponent would be our negative 5x and our positive 4x. Again, I'm going to rewrite them for organizational purposes. Negative 5x plus 4x. And the third one's plus 8 minus 15, plus 8 minus 15. And now we're going to simplify. 5x squared plus 8x squared is 13x squared. Negative 5x minus 4x would be negative x, or minus an x. Negative 8 plus 15, or positive 8 minus 15 would be negative 7. And we have simplified the polynomial expression from above, basically combining like terms. Let's look at a second example that's going to be a little bit different. Our second example looks similar, except if you'll notice the sign in between the two polynomials is a negative, and that's going to make it a little bit different. It doesn't change the first polynomial, so again, I'm just going to rewrite that because there's nothing to distribute. But now we need to distribute the negative sign to the 3x squared. So that would be minus 3x squared. Now we're going to distribute the negative sign to a negative 6. So we're going to write minus negative 6. Now what I see right there is I see two negative signs. And those two negative signs, whenever they're next to each other, turn to a positive. And we're going to do the exact same thing, distribute the negative sign to the negative 5. And again, when I rewrite it, I see two negative signs next to each other that I'm going to simplify to an addition sign. As in the first example, now we are going to combine like terms, finding the largest exponent. So we have 8x squared, negative 3x squared. And I'm going to write those down. Then I'm going to do my negative 2x and my plus 6x, and I'm going to write those down. And then I'm going to do my plus 5 and my plus 5, and I'm going to write those down. And then I'm going to simplify this expression to get my answer. 8x squared minus 3x squared is 5x squared. Negative 2x plus 6x would be plus 4x. and positive 5 plus 5 will be plus 10. And I have successfully simplified this polynomial. Okay, let's look at example 3, and example 3 is going to be a little bit different than 1 and 2. Now we have the 3 out in front of the first set of parentheses and the positive 4 in front of the second set of parentheses. So now we're going to distribute each one of these sets of parentheses. So we're going to distribute the 3 with the x, so you get 3x. Distribute the 3 with the negative 2, and you get minus 6. Distribute the 4 with the 8x squared, and you get plus 32x squared. Distribute the 4 with the negative 2x, and you get minus 8x. Distribute the positive 4 with the positive 5, and you get plus 20. And again, as we have in the first two examples, find our largest exponent, write that one down first. Then find our like terms of 3x and negative 8x, write those second. And then find our like terms of negative 6 and positive 20, write those down third. And then we are going to simplify this to get 32x squared minus 5x plus 14. And we have successfully simplified this expression. As I move on to the fourth one, another example, pretty similar. Here we go. We're going to distribute our 5 to the x. And if you want to try this one and pause your computer right now, pause your computer and see if you can simplify this expression before I do it. Okay, now that you're back, let's see if you got it right. 5x minus 20 minus 35x squared plus 25x minus 15. Find our largest exponent, write it down. Find our like terms of the next highest exponent, write them down. Find our next like terms, write them down. And then simplify the entire thing. You get 35x squared plus 30x minus 35. I hope you got that right. It shows that you're on your way. Now, what we're going to do, those are the 4 examples that we're going to go over. And I am going to now give you 6 practice problems. Here are your first 3 practice problems. I would like you to simplify them. Use your first 2 examples to help you when you simplify these. When you're done with this, and you can pause the computer right now. Now that you're back after you solved it, let's go on to your next 3 examples. Use examples 3 and 4 to help you simplify these. And then when you're done with all of them, bring this up to your teacher and we can go over the answers as a class. If you have any questions, call your teacher over, have them explain it. But first, if you have questions, I would watch the video at least one more time. Have a good day and take care.